What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Timeless Movie Podcast, episode number 113. My name is Victor Vasquez. Appreciate you joining me on another episode where we typically discuss new movies that come out in theaters or streaming. On these podcasts, I like to just kind of talk. Sometimes I'm solo, sometimes I have my brother or other guest, and we really just dive into a movie and talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. Sometimes I know ahead of time, like, yeah, this movie might be timeless, and sometimes just on a whim as I'm talking through it, I dissect it a little bit more and I find out, you know what? Maybe this movie is timeless. Maybe it's something that I would want to rewatch in the future moving forward. So, really fun stuff. I'm excited for this episode, but before we get into it, I did want to call out, guys, episode 112 is available on all platforms in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Go to the comments. Leave a comment there, leave a review. Let me know what you thought about the episode. Definitely want to hear you guys' feedback and see how I can improve this podcast overall. In episode 112, we talk about Love Hurts, which stars Ki Hui Kwan. Really fun movie, nothing spectacular, but still a good time to watch. Go into those specific podcasts or episodes and let me know what you thought about Love Hurts and if you thought it was timeless. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. I am pumped because this week's episode is the first MCU movie of 2025. That's right, we're talking about Captain America Brave New World. This one is directed by Julius Ona and it stars Anthony Mackie as Captain America. You know me, guys, if you've heard me in the past, I love Marvel. I've really have a special place in my heart for all of the Marvel franchise of movies, all the way from like Iron Man up until Endgame and even some of Phase 4. Everything has just been such a hit for me. Not everything. Some things have, been a little bit below average, but for the most part, I'm always excited for the next Marvel movie. So again, there's always a bias there that I like to let people know, especially if this is your first time listening to this specific podcast. But on this episode, we're going to be talking about our pros and cons, what we liked, and then diving into whether Captain America Brave New World is timeless. I don't really have a lot of background thoughts other than the fact that I saw a couple of trailers. I already knew I was going to watch this movie, so I really didn't need to see anything. But I was really interested in how they were going to play out with Sam Wilson's story. Now that he is Captain America, what kind of interactions was he going to get into, as well as how was Harrison Ford going to be as Thaddeus Ross, that now that he's taking over the role over William Hurt, who actually passed away in 2022. So those are kind of two of the things that I was really interested in. But now that I get to check it out in theaters, I got to see it in IMAX at AMC. Let's go into the non-spoiler thoughts of Captain America Brave New World. Okay, after leaving the theater and checking out Captain America Brave New World, I got to say that this movie is good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Now, want to make it very clear, even though I think it is good, it is not one of the great Marvel movies that we have had for the last 15 years. It's, I would say, kind of like right down the middle. It's not, if you've listened to other movie podcasts or listen to or read through other articles about this movie, there's for some reason this kind of big hyperbole of like this is one of the worst MCU films. I think its Rotten Tomatoes score is really terrible. I think it's like below 50% or at 50%. But I think there's a lot of things that are getting blown out of proportion. Like this is definitely not one of the worst Marvel movies, at least in my personal opinion. To me, it's just right in the middle. It's not one of the greats. It's not something that I'm gonna really kind of think of after I left the theater. But it's also not one of the things that like, oh man, this is just, I would definitely rewatch this over other Marvel movies that I have at the bottom of my list. Some of the things that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the action sequences in this movie. I really liked the way that they kind of used Captain America with the wings that he has. Really enjoyed that. I also like some of the interactions between Thaddeus Ross and Sam Wilson, as well as Sam with other characters in the movie. And then also really appreciated the visual effects. Again, a lot of visual effects were used, obviously, because of the Red Hulk and the way that they were trying to animate him against Sam Wilson's Captain America. But again, I really appreciated that. So those are some of the highlights. Some of the things that kind of bring the film down and keep it from being a great movie is just some of the parts of the story, as well as some performances in the film. We'll dive into that a little bit later in the spoiler section of this podcast. But again, there's just a couple of things in the story that just just don't really make it the film pop, which is unfortunate. So again, overall, I like the movie. It is good, but again, it's really up to everybody's interpretation. You'll probably watch it and think like, "Oh, well, Victor, you're way off on that." So, if you do disagree, let me know down below in the comments. All right, as a general synopsis, let's go ahead and dive into a little piece of setting up this movie of Captain America: Brave New World. It immediately drops you into the stage of the US announcing its new president, which is now Thaddeus Ross, played by Harrison Ford. They sets it up. He's trying to bring the country together. He confirms Celestial Island, where finally a movie addresses the Celestial that came out in the Eternals. And so they kind of just set up the movie in that way, and then immediately switch it over to Captain America, Sam Wilson. He's on a specific mission in Mexico. He's trying to thwart a specific group called the Serpent Society, and it is headed by this character named Sidewinder, who is played by Giancarlo Esposito. And that whole mission, that whole intro was a great setup to show you how good Captain America is at this moment. Sam has the wings. He's able to kind of fly around, has the shield, really crazy stuff. But I thought it was a great intro to Sam as Captain America. He then thwarts the Serpent Society. They were actually trying to steal some type of cargo. And as the film goes on, you end up realizing that this cargo is actually adamantium. And this adamantium is coming from the Celestial that came out in the Indian Ocean. So, really cool kind of reveal on that side. And then because of this mission, Thaddeus Ross, now being president, actually invites Sam and Joaquin to the White House in order to kind of congratulate them and really kind of thank them for helping recover this piece of adamantium, and also to really tell Sam directly to his face that he wants to work together to rebuild the Avengers since they haven't been a part of these Marvel movies over the last couple of phases. And so that's kind of where the movie kind of sets up its first really kind of tough challenge for Sam is what is his decision going to be? And then he also ends up kind of having a tougher situation in the fact that when they go to the White House, Sam actually not only invites Joaquin, but also Isaiah Bradley, who was a character that came out in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And as they're listening in on Thaddeus Ross's presentation, Isaiah Bradley ends up getting up, seems to be mind controlled, and tries to assassinate the president. And so, right from the get go, they put Sam in a specific situation where things aren't as they seem, and somebody seems to be playing everybody and having a master plan. And so, that's really the initial setup that I'm going to leave it at. Again, it's almost tries to kind of give that espionage action type of a movie, very much kind of like a thriller, almost feeling like the Winter Soldier in a way. But again, just want to leave it there. That way, if you're on the fence to check out this movie, definitely give it a shot. And hopefully that kind of synopsis gave you a little bit more insight as to whether you would want to watch this movie or not. As a overall recommendation though, would I recommend folks check this out in theaters? I would say that if you enjoy action movies, if you enjoy that kind of espionage type of a thriller, and you're a Marvel fan, definitely check this out in theaters. I think this is a fun time. A lot of cool action set pieces that are set up throughout the movie. But if you're not a Marvel fan, if you are iffy on the last couple of movies, then I would probably recommend that you can wait for this on streaming. Because again, this one really won't convince you as to, oh yeah, this is what I really want to now dive into deeper into the lore of Marvel. This isn't the film that's going to do that. Again, it's more right down the middle, very simple, very straightforward, a fun action movie, but nothing spectacular. So that'll be my recommendation. Again, if you're a Marvel fan, definitely go check this out in theaters. If you're not too much into Marvel or the movies as of late have just kind of let you down, just wait for this one on streaming. Okay, those are all of my non-spoiler thoughts. Let's go ahead and dive in. Let's start dissecting this movie a little bit deeper and spoiling a couple of different details. That way you can kind of get my thought process as to why I enjoyed it or why I maybe didn't enjoy it as much. So if you have not seen Captain America: Brave New World, jump out of the video now, watch the movie, then come back and interact with me in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this film. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. First pro for me of Captain America: Brave New World has got to be the action scenes. Guys, I'm an action guy. I love action in movies. That's really one of the things that keeps me so engaged, apart from the characters or apart from the story, is how is the action playing out, and can the movie pull off something that's very unique and different from other films. Now, Marvel has a history of having some really cool set pieces in action in its films. And what I really enjoyed about Captain America: Brave New World is the action that involved Cap. And what I loved most is that because Sam, was Falcon before, he had the wings, he's incorporated that into his own Captain America suit as well. And so he has these sick Wakandan wings, and the action choreography that they were able to use for Sam whenever ever he was like fighting off minions or fighting Red Hulk, they would use him in very creative ways. Like sometimes he would be flying through the air and he would use the wings to slice through a fighter jet that was shooting at him. Or there was times where he was kind of flying and then as soon as he landed on the ground and he would be taking bullets and taking shots, he would use the wings to kind of absorb that energy, like the Black Panther suit that T'Challa would wear in Black Panther. And he would use the wings to absorb it and then use it to blast away all these thugs. And then at the end of the film, he would use the wings to basically cover up and absorb the hits from the Red Hulk. And so all these different ways that they were able to pull off the action sequences for Sam in the Captain America suit with the wings was really top notch for me. I really enjoyed it. Again, it's different. Even though we have seen some cool action sequences with Sam in prior movies, they just added a little bit more flavor and a little bit more to making him look badass in these different types of scenes. I also really enjoyed the way that they were able to kind of slow down the action whenever he would use the wings. So there was times, like I mentioned before, whenever he would slice through things. Like there was a time where the Red Hulk kind of threw a car at him, and he just slowed down, did a little spin, and then the wings just sliced through the car, and it kind of just slows down and then picks up the action right where it left off. And so really enjoyed all of these different types of set pieces that involved Captain America, because again, it was a little bit different from what we've seen before from Steve when he was Captain America. So really appreciated that, and that's going to be my first pro. Second pro for me is actually going to be Sam's arc and story in this movie. I mentioned it before at the beginning that one of the things I was curious about is how can we make this story about Sam and have the audience connect to him. And this is a cool thing is because in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show that came out on Disney Plus, Sam was actually battling with the fact that did Steve make the right decision in giving him the shield? Should he have been declared the new Captain America? And so that was kind of the battle that he was facing throughout the show. And in this film, he's now accepted as Captain America. He is basically the face that everybody thinks about when they think of Cap. Now, the new battle, though, is should he have taken the serum? And the reason he has this battle within himself is because he now has to battle these different types of enhanced individuals. And every battle he gets into, it becomes tougher and tougher. He's not able to recover as quickly. And so every battle he goes into, he's either damaged, he's hurt, he's got broken ribs. And so all this different stuff just starts kind of piling on Sam. And he starts kind of debating. And especially at a point where Joaquin ends up getting injured because of Sam not being enhanced and not being as prepared as he should be. He feels like, if I had the serum, I could have taken care of this. I could have handled this situation better. And again, that internal battle of all the struggles that he's facing made me connect with Sam even more. It made me appreciate that, like, yeah, look, he's not enhanced. And the film has to remind you about that. It has to remind you that he doesn't have superhuman abilities. He's not Steve Rogers. He is a normal human. And when he's having this battle, there's actually a nice cameo from Bucky, who ends up making an appearance, and he has to center Sam again. He has to let him know, Sam, you're not Captain America because of this specific reason, or you're not any different than Steve just because you don't have the serum. You're actually just as good as Steve, and maybe even better because you are human, because you give other people that don't have enhanced abilities or superhuman abilities the reason to aspire to be good. And so Bucky has a great speech and kind of just centers him and lets him know you don't need the serum. And then what's even funnier is that later on, when Sam is facing off against the Red Hulk, he has it's a great payoff and a great joke where he's getting beat up and he's like, "Damn, I should have taken the serum." And so it's even funnier. But I really enjoyed the internal battle that Sam had to face within the film. It's not all the way through very clear cut. It's certain scenes here and there. But again, I really appreciated that they added this element to the movie because it helped me connect with Sam even more. And again, made me appreciate that he had to work twice as hard as everybody else. So really enjoyed that. So that's my second pro. And then the last pro I have for Captain America Brave New World, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of flack from you guys, so let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure I'll be in the minority, but I actually really appreciated the visual effects of the Red Hulk. I liked it. He looked pretty realistic. Again, I know that there's other visual effects that are probably going to look a lot better, but to me, it didn't look wonky. It didn't look unrealistic. They captured Harrison Ford's face really well, and that's tough. So, I know that maybe some of the best CGI of the Hulk has to be like in Avengers in 2012, how they captured Mark Ruffalo's face and all that stuff. But in this film, I thought they did really well. He had a couple of cool action sequences where he was jumping from the White House to the Washington Monument, trying to chase down Cap when he was flying through the air. And there's all these things. Even when he does his like Hulk clap and thunder clap, you could see like all the different types of the veins in him and the way he's just kind of expressing on his face. But it all looked like it was CGI'd really well. Again, I'm not an expert in that field of CGI. I'm not an animator. I don't work in movies. So again, let me know. You guys can probably give me a lot of flack and let me know that I'm pretty sure this is a terrible pro for you guys. But for me, I really appreciated how they animated and they set up the Red Hulk. He looked realistic to me, even in certain battles against Captain America. All right, those are my pros of Captain America Brave New World. Let's now dive into some nitpicks and some cons as to what I didn't enjoy about the movie. Now, these are some of the reasons why I didn't consider the film great. And first one has got to be that some of the characters in the movie, they felt a little flat to me, which is unfortunate. I never want to feel like a performance is just kind of, again, not interesting at all. This happened with like I think a security guard that was working for Thaddeus Ross. Anytime that character would come out in the actual scenes, there was just no energy. There was no, that kind of charisma that I was looking for. And so it just everything kind of feels flat. And it also could not be the performance. It could also be the dialogue and the writing. So something just felt off. Also with Joaquin Torres, some of the dialogue and the writing just, it didn't work for me. I know that he had to sometimes be the comedic relief for the film, but some of the things just didn't land. I also didn't feel the chemistry that I was hoping to feel between Sam and Joaquin. They had their moments. I'm not going to say that there was no chemistry at all. No, there was definitely some moments where there was scenes that were set up to make the audience laugh, and it really worked. But some lines that were said by Joaquin just, again, it didn't connect with me or didn't make me laugh. So it kind of, again, felt a little flat at times. So that's unfortunate. I never want to feel that when I'm watching a movie because it kind of takes me out of the story when I see these performances that are, or the writing or dialogue that just feels like it doesn't flow with the movie as well. Second con for me has got to be the leader and his plan. So apart from seeing the Red Hulk in the trailers, you're thinking, okay, that's going to be the showdown that you have in Captain America Brave New World. You also have Tim Blake Nelson returning as Samuel Stearns. He actually came out in The Incredible Hulk. And in this film, he is now the leader. He has been mutated because of the gamma radiation that he receives, and he's all deformed, but he has a intelligent mind and has a way with probabilities. And so in this film, he's basically setting up a plan to ruin the legacy and ruin the reputation of Thaddeus Ross. And so the whole plan is basically just to kind of make the world see the true side of Thaddeus Ross. And I was really hoping that there was going to be some type of, element that would kind of surprise me or bamboozle me in some way. But at the end of the third act, it was basically just the setup of, yes, my big plan is to make Thaddeus Ross the Red Hulk. And I kind of felt a little let down. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's because of the fact that that you could see the plan coming from a mile away, and I was really hoping, okay, it can't just be that his plan is to make Thaddeus Ross the Red Hulk, and like, is that really it? Like, I mean, that they showed that in the trailers, and that's the unfortunate part is when they show that kind of stuff in the trailers, it kind of ruins it because now I know, like, I remember seeing those scenes. I'm like, oh, is that really just all his grand plan is? It would have been cool if his plan was not only to make him the Red Hulk, but to pull off something else, to start a world war for adamantium and things of that nature. And there were elements there, but I was really hoping for more of the leader's plan. And it wasn't anything that was menacing. It wasn't anything that really kind of grabbed my attention. It was like, oh crap, Sam has to stop this in some way. It never felt that way, and it just looked like you could already anticipate it right from the middle of the movie. It's like, okay, well, you're starting to see Thaddeus Ross get more and more upset. He's taking these pills. Well, he's going to become the Red Hulk. Okay, well, we knew that because the trailer gave us that information. So the leader's plan overall is a con for me, and what brings this story down a lot in regards to Captain America: Brave New World. those are all the cons that I had so far. Guys, let me know down below if you agree or disagree with some of the pros and cons. Again, would love to discuss and interact with you guys around Captain America Brave New World. But enough of the negative stuff. Let's dive into some of the positive and favorite stuff that we still enjoyed about Captain America Brave New World. And let's start off with favorite performance. Who is that performance that I really enjoyed and would really want to see again, or maybe even see clips on YouTube to just get that feeling back of watching their performance interact with other characters? For me, super easy. I'm going to give this one to Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Anthony Mackie just has this charisma, man. He has this real great way to deliver these lines. Like there's times where he has these cool action sequences, and there's a guy that's like beating him up, and he's like, "You want to take a break, Captain America?" And then you just hear Cap say like, "Nah, man, I got things to do." And it's just the way that Anthony Mackie delivers these lines are hilarious. And so he had a lot of great energy, and I really appreciated like the things that he was able to do in this film as Sam Wilson. Not only again was he funny, but he also got emotional. Like I mentioned before, when Joaquin Torres was in the hospital, you could see in Sam's eyes that he just felt the pain of like, I need to be better. I need to do better. Like, should I have taken the serum? So there's a great combination of the funny moments, the serious moments, but also the emotional moments that Sam has to go through within this story. And again, when a movie is able to make me connect to their main character, especially, it that goes a long way for me. And I again really appreciated the performance that Anthony Mackie was able to pull off. And I'm excited afterwards now to see how he's able to hopefully lead the Avengers that will eventually get built. So again, favorite performance overall, Anthony Mackie as Captain America. All right, let's move on to favorite scene. I have a couple that I really liked. No surprise, it's going to be action, but I really loved the first intro scene of Captain America in this movie. They again had to really set the tone for how different Sam's Cap was going to be from Steve. And they, again, the Wakandan wings that they were able to add to him, using the shield in combination, a lot of different types of choreography were used. But that first scene of him using the wings to kind of blow back these thugs and just thwart the Serpent Society, all of it was just so well done. And again, it just shows you that even though, yes, he is Captain America, but he has a different style. He uses a different type of techniques and just has a different energy to him. So that whole first sequence of action for Cap using the wings and just kind of knocking out these guys was really well done. And I really appreciated it. Again, using a lot of the different types of like slowing down the action and speeding it up, and everything was just choreographed really well. And then last but not least, favorite shot. What frame did I really enjoy that I can almost kind of see as like a screensaver? For me, it's going to be the Red Hulk. There's a specific scene where he's already transformed. He's on top of the White House. It's burning. A helicopter just crashed. And you just see him come out of the smoke and just scream his lungs out as the Red Hulk. And it just looks so badass. It looks so cool. And again, to me, the animation, the CGI looked really well done and crisp for the Red Hulk. I thought they nailed it. So that is going to be my favorite shot. Red Hulk on top of the White House as it's burning and him just screaming, letting them know that the Red Hulk is here. All right, guys, those are my favorite things in regards to Captain America Brave New World. Now it is time to close out the podcast and decide whether Captain America A Brave New World is timeless. Is it something that I would want to rewatch in the future? Now, what makes this very tough is typically, I usually do watch all the Marvel movies again because I like to kind of do a rerun or a rewatch of all the movies just to kind of get that awesome experience of this connected universe. But I think we have to have these movies stand on their own merits, stand alone, not considering any other Captain America movie, not considering any other Marvel movie. Is Captain America Brave New World timeless on its own? And for me, Captain America Brave New World is not timeless movie, unfortunately. Again, it is a good movie. I had a good time watching it, but the one thing that I kept thinking about when I walked away from the theater was I didn't feel the buzz. Usually when I watch movies, like for example, Shang-Chi, No Way Home, Wakanda Forever, Endgame, Infinity War, these movies that left me after the theater with such a buzz, such an excitement of like, I can't wait to see what's next. I can't wait to see these characters come out again. Now, I do feel for Sam. I really do want to see him back, and I want to see him lead the Avengers. That I am still excited for, and I still have the feeling of connection towards his character. But it's only him. nothing else really kind of gave me the buzz of like, well, I can't wait to see the Red Hulk again. What's going to happen to Thaddeus Ross? What about Joaquin? There was nothing else for that, and that's unfortunate. I never want to feel like that when I leave a Marvel movie. Is like you want to feel like the expansion of the world, the lore that you're going to have to kind of pick up on. I enjoy those pieces, but I didn't feel that after watching Captain America: Brave New World. So that's the unfortunate part. So again, I didn't feel the buzz, as well as some of the cons that I mentioned before about the kind of flat characters as well as the leader's plan. It just didn't work. So for me, in my personal opinion, Captain America: Brave New World is not a timeless movie. But what about you guys? I want to hear from you. Let me know down below in the comments. Let's interact. Let's talk more about Captain America: Brave New World. I'm pretty sure there's things that I may have forgotten to talk about. Let me know down below in the comments that we can continue this discussion and talking about what this movie made you guys feel as well. All right, everybody. Appreciate you staying all the way through to listen to my full thoughts about Captain America: A Brave New World. My name is Victor Vasquez. This has been episode number 113 of the Timeless Movie Podcast. Make sure to check out next week's episode as we cover a new film, and it's actually going to be called The Monkey. So, really interested to talk about this kind of horror comedy movie on the next episode. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I'll talk to you guys later.